Hello Virgo, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is your weekly tarot forecast. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, especially if this reading resonates with you, and that way you won't miss any of the future readings that we do for you each week on this channel. All right. So what is the situation for you? What are we calling the fight of your life this week, right? What is the most important situation going on? What is that major situation that you're involved in? What is the energy that you really need some clarity on? This set of circumstances that you need the guidance from the tarot. Let's find out what is going on with you. What are you involved in that's got you here today? First card, this Hanged Man card. Okay, let's put that into some context with our Dove and Serpent spread. And this, of course, is going to include this mystery card, confirmation card, bonus card, whatever you want to call it. We're going to put that right over here. We're not going to look at that until the very end. So stick around till the end of the video, and hopefully that card will tie all of this energy together, give us the confirmation or the clarity that we're looking for at the very end, right? Just kind of pull everything together. Now, looking at all of this, there's not a lot of major arcana. We see some air, some fire, a little bit of earth, a little bit of water, some more air. So it's fairly balanced, okay? So I think that there is a lot going on. I think you're very much in tune with all of the energies. I think you're very aware. I think you have a good grasp of your emotional life, your mental life, your physical reality. I think you're very in tune. You're very much in harmony with things, right? But I see that there's some kind of issue going on right now, and I think that it may be in terms of your romantic relationship. We see a couple signs of that, which we'll get to in a few minutes here. But I think you're kind of in this limbo state about things, right? And maybe you're not quite sure why, or maybe you are fairly certain of why that is. But it's almost like you are kind of silently suffering, hoping that things will change, right? You're in this kind of suspended state, this limbo, right? And you are maybe contemplating what needs to be sacrificed in your life in order to make this relationship harmonious. Maybe you are kind of considering whether or not you should sacrifice or how much you really should be suffering for the greater good, right? For the good of the relationship itself. Right? How much are you expected? How much is it right for you to sacrifice in this situation? So I see that you're kind of in this limbo state. You're kind of unsure what to do, where to go. You're unsure what the future will be. You're unsure what moves to make right now, or if there is a move that needs to be made. Okay? And so I see that this is the energy this week. This is kind of this limbo, kind of this suspended state of things, which is, I think, involving your romantic relationship primarily because we see the Lover's card here in the recent past. So I think that the issue here is that there was or is this very strong love connection. You were hoping or you were believing that this was the perfect relationship, right? That this was an ideal union, that this had the really deep connection on every level, the emotional level, physical level, the spiritual level, that there was that connection there, right? And the two of you seem to have bonded very quickly, got along very well. There was a lot of passion, a lot of excitement, a lot of deep connection, okay? And I see that this is, in some part, why you're in this state of limbo now. If this wasn't there, if this was more of a superficial union or if this was a casual relationship, I don't think you would have this kind of suspended limbo, contemplation thing going on. I think it would be easy for you to just move on. But the fact that there was and is this very deep connection and this, this kind of ideal union situation, it makes it a lot more difficult for you to move on, or to make this decision of how much you're willing to sacrifice for the sake of the relationship, right? How much are you willing to endure of your own emotional turmoil? I don't see any signs that there's really anything going on in the physical realm that is contributing to this. There's one minor thing, but we'll get to that in a moment. But in general, the physical reality of the relationship doesn't seem to give you a whole lot of reason to doubt or to feel this kind of uncertainty or this turmoil or this state of limbo, this suffering, this kind of feeling of having to sacrifice yourself. So where does all of this come from? I think it comes from your inner life. I think it comes from your emotions and your mind and your spirit, just feeling not at ease, right? And by looking at this Hanged Man card, it doesn't look like a comfortable position. It looks like maybe you're trying to make the best of it. You're trying to be as comfortable as possible, but you're still in this position, and it's just inherently uncomfortable, right? But the reason that it's difficult for you to just move on or make the make the easy decision is because you have this history with this person. Okay, there's a maybe a long history there, but it's a very deep, a very intense history, right? And so that's making it difficult to get out of this Hanged Man position now. What we see also is, upside down, this Four of Swords that's entering the situation this week. And I think along with your kind of state of, I don't want to say misery, but your state of suffering, your state of dis-ease, and your state of kind of limbo, this suspended state, you're not making a decision yet, you're unsure really what to do or where to go. You're just kind of suspended in this state of suffering to a greater or lesser extent, right, to put it bluntly. But then this Four of Swords comes along, and this is really the resolution of any lingering issues. This is the resolving, the resolution, the putting to rest any kind of any problems, any issues, any kind of debate, any lingering like arguments that are not resolved yet, right? That haven't really been hashed out. So this card, the keyword here is truce, and this is in some sense agreeing to disagree. This is in some way dealing with any lingering issues, but not with just more arguments, right? Because this is a Four of Swords, not a Five of Swords. With a Five of Swords, maybe I'd say, yeah, you need to have these arguments again. But with the Four of Swords, it seems more settled. It seems that things are going to just be resolved. It's going to be, and not resolved as in you're going to come to a conclusion, everyone's going to agree on it, and there's going to be, forward movement. I think this is more of just a ceasefire, a cessation of the argument, of the fighting, of the debates, of the back and forth, of all of that friction, conflict, and turmoil. So it's that agreeing to disagree, just kind of saying, hey, look, we're not really going to get anywhere having these arguments, so let's just be at peace and let's just try to move on from them, even if we haven't reached a definite conclusion. Maybe it's one of those things where there is really no definite conclusion, but with all of these feelings, and in particular with you in this state, I see that it easily leads to a lot of arguments. And it's not an argument that really has a definite conclusion. It's nothing that is going to have a very defined answer. It's something that is maybe arguing about your feelings, about your emotions, about this kind of watery limbo, suspended state that you're in. Okay? And so with this Four of Swords, I really think this is about trying to avoid any of this kind of conflict, any of these arguments again, because it feels to me like they are emotionally based and they're not going to have a conclusion. There's going to be no, like I said, well-defined answer or resolution. So it needs to be more of a ceasefire, of a disengagement from those kinds of arguments or like heated discussions. Okay. So I think that is kind of the theme for the week. But we also have at the top of the Path of the Dove here this Four of Wands. Four of Wands is all about cycles, phases of your life, doorways that open and close, that lead from one area of reality to another. So I wonder if the entire reading really today and for this week isn't centered around your issue of where you think you are, where you think you should be in life right now. Right? Are you accepting that this is part of your cycle of life, maybe a cycle of karma, just the where you're meant to be right now, right? And are there issues within yourself that are not allowing you to accept that this is the life that you've created, this is the life that you have? Of course, if things are not working out, you need to take the correct steps to move forward and to fix your life as much as possible, right? The main point is to lament being in this position and to be in this suspended state, this limbo, where you are unable to act, unable to make a decision, unable to move, right, is partly due to your unwillingness to accept the cycles of life, right? This kind of the revolving wheel of things, of reality, of your karma, of your destiny, your fate, your sheer luck, whatever you want to call it. I think, though, that there needs to be some sort of plan, some sort of effort, some sort of forward movement, right? This Four of Wands is really about closing that past issue, tying up the loose ends, getting on with this cycle, allowing it to complete itself in whatever way it needs to, right? But it's really telling you that this suspended state, this period of inaction, indecision, this inability to move needs to be corrected. You need to get out of this position and move in one direction or another. Okay? Because the way things are now, it's going to just be more of this trying to avoid fighting, right? Trying to avoid this conflict. That's going to be the name of the game for as long as you're in this kind of limbo, suspended position, which is a watery position. It's an emotional state that you're kind of stuck in or lingering in, dwelling in. And it's just going to lead to more fights or the effort to avoid more fights. Rather than seeing how this is all part of the plan, all part of the cycle, this is the phase of your life, and to try to make the best out of this, to try to use this as a stepping stone to the rest of your life, use it as a way to grow and evolve and heal and do that self-work, that inner spiritual work. I think this is all part of the cycle for you. And I think, again, it's an unwillingness to accept that, you are on this wheel. And this is where you need to be right now. So lamenting the situation and kind of feeling bad or feeling sorry or having some self-pity that you're here, that you're in this position, well, you have to accept that you're in this position, and what are you going to do about it? Because this situation cannot continue because, like I said, the name of the game will just be trying to avoid conflict, right? And nobody wants that kind of situation to endure, okay? So it really is about cycles of your life, different phases. You are right where you need to be right now, but this wheel needs to continue to turn, okay? So this cycle is going to be completed one way or the other. It's just a matter of how are you going to harmonize with the cycles of things, okay? Now the next card that we see that kind of is right along with what we've been talking about, obviously, is down here beneath the surface, Seven of Swords. This is what's going on underneath it all, right? What is the energy that's coming up from below, right? The energy from above is kind of saying, okay, look, this is the situation. This is where you are right now, and you have to deal with reality as you find it, as you experience it right now in this moment, okay? Which means getting out of this hanged man position. Now, the energy coming up from below that's kind of beneath the surface is this Seven of Swords. This is a mental thing. This is the the multitude of thoughts, scenarios, the multitude of avenues and patterns and habits, and all these little side tracks that you go on mentally that kind of take you outside of time and space, right? It's almost, you get lost a little bit in your thoughts and you go off on all of these different avenues. You see how many swords there are there. There's this central path right in the middle. This is the direct way forward. This is, getting out of this hanged man position, continuing on with your destiny, with your karma, with your life cycle. But all of these side avenues, these are just places that you can go mentally that take you, like I said, take you outside of time and space, take you away from the reality, take you away from this central path of what you really need to do, the way forward, right? And this is more of a mental thing, and this is kind of getting lost in the wilderness a little bit, kind of going off trail, right? And this is something that happens, mentally in your psychic life. Do you know what I mean? And I think this is a coping mechanism. I think this is a strong factor in why we're still in this hanged man position. It seems like rather than dealing with this hanged man situation, there is this just trying to avoid it, right? This card's about avoiding the conflict with your person, with the people around you, with your loved ones, or whoever is involved in this relationship, right? Because this doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship. Okay, this is any kind of a close, really close, deep spiritual bond that you have with someone. Now, I led with the romantic possibility because that's most likely, but it's not guaranteed. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. I just wanted to put that out there. But I think that this card is also, not only the avoidance of the arguments, the kind of those fights that really don't accomplish anything, but it's just maybe a release valve for all of this emotional energy. But I think this is also the avoidance of this situation, of this hanged man situation. It's trying to avoid acknowledging and accepting the reality of it. And one of the coping mechanisms to avoid is to utilize this Seven of Swords, to get lost in the wilderness, to kind of go off in so many different directions with your thoughts, with your spirit, right, in your soul, in your psyche, that it takes your mind off of this central sword, this central idea, the essential reality here. Okay, so I think it's a coping mechanism. And now going into the future, we see a Seven of Wands. And this is in part the feeling like this is a situation that is just way more powerful than you. It's so much larger than you and your feelings. There's so many other factors involved, right? There are maybe a lot of different people involved, a lot of different energies, a lot of different feelings, right? So this doesn't just affect you, but it affects this other person, and it affects anyone else that's around you. It affects the universe as a whole, right? There's a ripple that's going to extend from this situation. And this is, I think, feeling like the odds are against you, feeling like this situation is too much to deal with. This is feeling also like your creativity and your spirituality is blocked, right? That you are unable to express yourself the way that you need to, the way that you are drawn to, the way that is natural and right and correct for you. You're feeling like you're being blocked. And you are also experiencing physical fatigue or even illness or injury because of this situation, because of this emotional, because of this hanged man position. You know what? If you look at this card, if you're in that position for too long, I guarantee you're going to start to feel some back pain, some general feelings of dis-ease, right? It doesn't seem very comfortable. So this card is saying that there's there's going to be this fatigue and this drain of energy, this loss of vitality on different levels. The emotional, creative blockage, right? The ripples that are going to extend from this decision affecting so many other things and so many other people in your life. And this is also like extending out to your physical body. I think you're experiencing the fatigue. I think also strongly you're experiencing some intense back pain. And I think it may be related to this hanged man position that you're in. Now, if you're in any kind of pain or you have any kind of health issues, please seek professional attention. I'm not qualified to give medical advice or any kind of advice, really. I'm just reading this energy as I see it. And I'm just letting you know what I'm feeling from all of these cards, generally, okay? But I really think that there's something going on here with fatigue, with back pain, with some sort of physical ailment, maybe just a general, aches and pains or just general feeling unwell, right? And I think it really is because of this position, because you are, you're in this hanged man position and it's starting to take its toll. And that's just yet another indication that it's time to get out of this situation. It's time to do what needs to be done in whatever way possible, whatever way really needs to, you need to go. But staying in limbo, staying in this suspended state is not going to work out for you, I don't think. It doesn't seem like it will based on this energy. But let's move over to the path of the serpent now and see if we can get any other indication of what is going on, what are some more factors, what are some more feelings, or some other points of view that might be going on here, okay? So the first one we see, this is in your general energy. This is your general energy this week. And this is that Prince of Swords. Now, a lot of the times the prince will represent another person involved. In this situation, I don't think it is. I think this is representing an aspect of yourself. I think this is your general energy where you are trying to take charge of your feelings, of your creative energy, of this situation, of the reality, of your impulse, of your anxiety, right? And you're trying to channel it into the mental sphere, into your thoughts, into your mind, into your psyche. And that, I think, is cutting you off from the emotional aspect of it, from the reality of it, right? And I think this card really is representing, kind of in a nutshell, what we were talking about with all of these swords here, right? The avoidance of the conflict, because those arguments are going to just be arguments based on emotion. So you're kind of avoiding those. You're avoiding feeling the hanged man state, feeling how you feel, right? You're trying to avoid that by getting lost in the wilderness, by getting lost in your thoughts, maybe occupying yourself mentally so that you aren't feeling these things. Does that make sense? And that is kind of what we're experiencing here. Someone who is trying to channel all of this energy, all of the fiery aspects of this. So all of the, really burning, all of the hot, all of the intense energies. Everything we talked about, the creative blockages, the energetic blockages, the fatigue, the physical fatigue, and then all of the, emotional feelings, the emotional energy. It's all being kind of avoided, kind of cut off even. You're trying to detach from all of that and just stay in your head, stay in your psyche, occupying yourself with mental things so that you don't feel the physical or emotional energies, okay? And that's what the Prince of Swords, I think, is doing here. And this is kind of summarizing a lot of what we said on the path of the dove, okay? And this card really is kind of a transitional card from the path of the dove to the path of the serpent. So this makes sense here to me. That this is this is where we're starting out this week, with this kind of avoidance, with this detachment from things, right? It's like your body and your emotions are in this hanged man position, but in your mind, you're lost in the wilderness somewhere. And that's a coping mechanism I think that we all tend to use. But let's move on and see. Now, I said that there was a kind of minor physical fact, or a physical aspect of reality that was a factor here. Because I said a lot of this was just kind of going on in your body, within you, in your soul, in your emotions, in your mind, right? I started out saying that. But I said that there is one kind of external factor that's contributing to this hanged man state that you're in, this limbo. And that is a financial concern, I think. It feels like there is some uncertainty, some turmoil, some anxiety to do with finances, or maybe the home, maybe a living situation is kind of shaky, but I think it's financial. There's some instability there, and that is leading to a little bit of this hanged man state that you're in. This little bit of indecision, limbo, this kind of you're just wallowing in this state of suffering kind of right now. And I don't mean to sound too extreme, but I don't want to minimize your situation or your feelings either. So I know that there is this financial thing that's contributing to that. It's not the whole story, but this is that one kind of external factor that is affecting your hanged man state right now. Okay. And I think that this is something that, maybe your finances are pretty intertwined with this person that we're talking about. If it's a lover, if it's a close friend or a close family member, domestic partner, someone, whoever is represented, whatever relationship is represented by this lover's card, there are some rather complex financial things going on that are contributing to your hanged man state. Okay. And now, the next card is a lovely card. I love this card a lot. But I wonder what it's doing in this position of fears, concerns, what's going to be causing you anxiety as you move forward. The obstacle, the Two of Cups, this is love. This is that harmony and balance. This is that terrific relationship, the balance, the give and take of love and passion and affection, that really, really strong love energy, right? And I wonder what this is doing in the position of your anxieties or your fears, or what it is that you have to overcome. So on the one hand, this could be really that, there is a lot of love and there is a lot of affection and there is this great bond between the two of you, but why is that something that you have to overcome? Is it necessary for you to get past this in order to move forward with your future and get out of this hanged man position? Is this something that you have to kind of sacrifice, right? Or to put it in another way, is this love and affection not enough to get you through the situation, right? This is there, but this is something that maybe you have to kind of put aside if you're going to move forward and get yourself out of this hanged man position. Or is this the concern that, if you make the wrong decision, you're going to be giving up this love and affection, this deep connection, right? So I think a big factor in one way or another is how much love and affection you feel for this person. And if you make the wrong decision, are you going to be losing this? Or if you make the other decision, is this not going to be enough to sustain you and to get you through this hanged man position? So this is kind of a central factor. This is what you really have to overcome to achieve the next card, this Six of Discs, this beautiful harmony, this beautiful alignment of all of the planetary energies, right? This is every aspect of your internal being, all of the different powers and forces, all of the different planetary energies within you in perfect alignment. Everything has gotten into place perfectly, that everything's just radiating, right? And this is also that beauty, harmony, balance in the external world, right? Getting yourself out of this situation is going to start putting everything in alignment for you. All of the right things are going to be in the right places to take you in the right direction. It's going to be that external alignment of all of these forces, all of these people and places and experiences and influences and energies coming from every direction are going to be in that perfect alignment to bring you to whatever success looks like for you. But this is a return to that beauty and harmony, both in the physical world, right? Like the financial situation will harmonize, right? Your physical situation, if there is this fatigue, this ailment, this dis-ease, that will harmonize. But this is also your emotions. Your feelings will harmonize. And all of the kind of mental turmoil that you're in too, all of that will harmonize. And your creative expression, that will harmonize. And you will be continuing on the cycle of your life, the path that you are meant to be on. These two cards are quite similar. They're both, both wheels, right? And so this is that kind of doorway where you can't stand on the threshold forever. You have to either step back and continue the work here or step forward and move on to the next room, the next phase, the next part of the cycle, the next phase of your life. And that is going to embracing that reality. All right, I'm not saying on whatever side of the threshold you choose to go is the right one, but I'm saying once you make a choice, it's going to be beauty and harmony because you're embracing the requirements of the situation. You're accepting the reality. You're kind of surrendering to the flow of your life, right? To the cycles of your life, to the phases of your life, to the work that you need to do. Now you're accepting that, and that's going to create the harmony. Not this choice or that choice, but accepting the fact that you're on this path and you have to keep moving. You can't stay suspended in this hanged man, wherever it went. You can't stay suspended in this position any longer. It's time to embrace the reality of the situation, surrender to the flow of things, and get a move on, because this kind of beauty and harmony really do await you. Okay. Now let's take a look at this confirmation card and see what this could be. I don't know what this could be. Nine of Cups, maybe an Empress card. That would be a pretty wonderful confirmation. I don't know. I don't want to speculate because it really, any card here is going to be a little bit nerve-wracking, I think. So let's just get on with it. Well, we've got a 10. We've got a 10 of Cups here. So this is kind of like that Nine of Cups. This is, the Nine of Cups is all about happiness. It's all about filling up all of this good love energy in every nook and cranny of your being, right? You're fulfilled, you're happy because you're doing what needs to be done. There's satisfaction on every level of your being. You feel that emotional fulfillment and joy, right? And this, however, is the 10 of Cups. So this is like the next, this is what is just beyond this state of being happy and joyful. Well, it's being satiated. It's being completely fulfilled. It's being achieving so much joy and harmony and pleasure that now you don't want anymore, right? You can't taste sugar if you become sugar, right? You can't experience happiness if you become happiness. So the 10 of Cups here is in some way confirming that, yes, you have this happiness, this fulfillment, this beauty and joy in your future, right? You're going to experience that. But at the same time, this is almost a card that's saying, look, be happy that you're not 100% fulfilled, right? You don't want to have everything done and have nothing left to strive for. Does that make sense? This is almost a card that says, try to find the happiness that you have now, because you may try to gain so much more or improve, if this situation that you're in now, right? It is causing you this hanged man state. You're in this position now, this limbo, this uncertainty, this kind of suffering. It may be a situation that, once you get what you want, you realize that it's not going to make you happy either, right? So this is the idea that if you fulfill every single desire that you have, if you really get your way, you really get everything you want, that's not going to make you happy. If you identify with what you think is meant for you, what you think is going to bring you that joy and happiness and satisfaction, if you identify with that happiness is not going to last, right? And I think it's going to be more apathy than anything. So this card's kind of saying that, look, the grass may not be greener on the other side. You may, maybe be careful what you wish for kind of thing. Because if you do receive everything that you wish for, it may not really be what you want or what you need or what is going to fulfill you and make you happy. So this is an interesting one. This is an interesting confirmation card, to be sure. I think we're going to look at this a little bit more in the extended version because I want to know really if this is saying option A, which is you're going to get everything that you want. You asked for it, here you go. Or if it's going to say, hey, look, don't set your sights too high, right? I don't know if I really like that message from this Ten of Cups. But if you're a follower of this channel, you know that the Ten of Cups is not my favorite card. Because again, this is like you're becoming sugar, and therefore you can't taste sugar anymore. You can't experience it. So let's see how this might apply to your situation. Let's take a look at this in the extended version. You can become a member to this channel by clicking on the link down in the description box. This was your weekly tarot forecast on Dove and Serpent Tarot.